Well, it's that time again. Let's walk in faith, talk about anime, and grow together. Welcome to Rev's Otaku Talk. Hey fam, welcome back to Rev's Otaku Talk, the podcast where faith and fandom collide. I'm your host Rev, and with me is my co-host Raver Mom.
Hi everybody.
And this is Season 3, The Character of Characters. In this season, we'll be taking a deep dive into the hearts, minds, and moral journeys of some of the most unforgettable characters in anime. This season, we're going beyond the battles, beyond the art, and beyond the hype. We're breaking down what truly makes a character compelling and their choices, their struggles, their growth, and what their stories can teach us about purpose, identity, and perseverance. From heroes to villains, side characters to legends. We'll explore how character shapes their story and how it can shape ours. So power up, press play, and get ready, because this is Rev's Otaku Talk. Let's get started. In today's episode, we're going to take a look at Team Rocket's #1 duo, Jessie and James. Sorry, Meowth. In the long-running anime Pokémon, Team Rocket's iconic duo, Jessie and James, serves as a dramatic and often hilarious antagonist, chasing after Ash and Pikachu. Jessie is bold, fiery, and fiercely ambitious, dreaming of rising to the top of Team Rocket, while James is more sensitive and theatrical, often showing a surprisingly gentle heart beneath his villainous role. Though they consistently scheme to capture rare Pokémon, especially Pikachu, their elaborate plans almost always backfire, sending them blasting off again. Despite being members of a criminal organization, Team Rocket, the pair are more comedic than cruel, and they're loyal to each other and to their Pokemon, particularly Meowth, makes them an oddly lovable, reoccurring rival rather than true threats. Hi, Raver Mom.
Hi.
You know, it's kind of cool we're doing this as a girl-guy duo, kind of like Team Rocket, you know?
Yeah, no.
No?
No.
No?
No.
No. Okay. So what do you think of Team Rocket, Jessie and James, Raver Mom?
I was honestly surprised that you had picked them for this episode.
Why?
Because they're Team Rocket and they blast off. I don't know. I just, when you think of Jessie and James, I don't see much positive when it comes to their character traits.
Okay. Well, negative character traits are still character traits.
True.
And who knows, maybe one day they'll get over them.
I hope so. I mean, the show's been running 30 years. Or Pokemon's been out for 30 years. So I really, really hope that is the case. But this one was a little harder for me. I mean, I saw what you picked and everything. And it wasn't easy for me to find a positive trait for them just because of the fact that they're the bad guys. So,
yeah, I mean, I honestly can't really look at them as full-on villains.
why?
To me, they're very shifty whenever it comes to the line of good and evil. I mean, to me, it's more selfishness with them.
Okay.
Whenever you watch the show, if it benefits them that Ash and Pikachu win, then all of a sudden they're Ash and Pikachu's cheerleaders.
Right.
And we've seen that in quite a few episodes.
Right.
And if it benefits them to get Pikachu or to defeat them or to detour them or anything else, then they are the, okay, let's attack, let's try to capture, let's come up with a plan that's worse than Pinky in the Brain and watch it flop, and then we're blasting off again.
Yeah.
You know? But if you look at their backstories,
Well, maybe that's my thing. I don't fully know their backstory. So, I mean, I know a little bit. I guess I would say I know a little bit.
I don't remember Jessie's 100%, but I do remember James. James was came from a very wealthy family,
Mm-hmm.
but they controlled everything he did.
Mm-hmm.
He had almost no free will, all the way to the point that they arranged his marriage because they wanted to control every aspect of his life. And I can see why he would want to be selfish,
Mm-hmm.
because to him that's freedom. And looking at some of the things that Jessie and James went through together,
Mm-hmm.
from being legends in the bicycle gang, where they were riding unicycles and junk.
Mm-hmm.
You know, at that point they were seen as big dogs.
Yeah.
You know, and they liked the recognition. And so they went from, they wanted to continue to build up that image. They wanted to continue to receive, the recognition and the street cred and everything like that. So they joined Team Rocket.
Right. And
they thought that would even more boost their egos.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Jessie's backstory actually isn't much better. She was, I know, abandoned.
Yeah.
And then, of course, had to deal child abandonment. That puts her in the foster system or walking the streets by herself. So she's dealing with poverty. And I know she had a lot of failures and stuff like that. So, I understand their backstory, and they get with their boss. And like, I do get all of that. It's just, to me, I feel like using their backstory as a way to, like, that's kind of an excuse for them to be bad. Like,
so it's not a justification for their actions.
I don't see it as a justification because of the fact of how much they flip-flopped. 1 minute they're on, they're for Pikachu and Ash and all of this, and then the next minute, we gotta get them, and stuff. So that's why I guess, like, I like them, but I don't like them.
I can understand that, because they did gain their freedom from their situation, and at that point they have an opportunity to go one way or the other.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure that Big Boss Giovanni would not have cared if they would have left.
Yeah, they were such horrible bad guys that they would go, what do you call it, in that little support group with Wreck-It Ralph, Like, they were such horrible bad guys that they would have been accepted immensely,
Just because you're a bad guy doesn't mean you're a bad guy.
Exactly.
Yeah, I get it. And I think that, I do think that they could have went in different directions. So.
Yeah.
I can understand that. At that point, they're making the choice to be bad.
Yeah, because if I recall, there were a couple of times where Ash, I think in the beginning, even tried to, like, help them or something.
Yeah.
And it was like, no, they didn't want to, because they were, that's what they chose.
Yeah.
And they had their little song and blah, 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 and all of that loveliness. But, to me, there were points where they could have made different decisions, but they chose to still, choose to be selfish. They chose to be irresponsible. They chose to be manipulative. They chose those, they made those decisions to be that kind of person, and they didn't have to.
And I think that's where, it shows a contrast in the way anime and TV shows and stuff were back in the late 90s, early 2000s to now, is the fact that it put that on display.
Yeah.
It put the fact there that you have a choice to do right or do wrong.
Yeah.
You have a choice to do bad or do good. You have a choice.
Yeah.
And, it didn't teach excuses. It showed that, people come from different walks of life.
Yeah.
But their lives, where their life goes, is defined off of their choices.
Yeah.
And you can either make the choice to fight and, fight for good and to build yourself up in a positive way, or you can take the easy way out. You can go into, bad choices and build bad habits and a bad lifestyle. And you might get ahead, but you're not ahead too long.
Yeah.
As we can tell from Team Rocket. I mean, they got ahead, or from Jessie and James, they got ahead to the point where they were Team Rocket, but they went from being ahead to being the bottom of the totem pole.
Right.
And they were stuck there.
Mm-hmm.
There was no getting out of it.
Yep.
So, I mean, I think it's a very good example of, everybody has a choice.
Yeah.
And what you do with that choice can define where you go.
Yeah. Yeah, probably the only thing positive that I could find, I mean, if you want to make it positive, is that from what I remember, they didn't really care what people thought of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like they made up their little jingle or intro song or whatever you want to call it
to protect the world from devastation.
And they would sing it, and if somebody interrupted, they were like, hold on, or they completely ignored them. And it did not bother them about what people thought.
Yeah, they had very high self-esteem. Even whenever they failed, they didn't stay down for long.
Yeah, they didn't.
They picked themselves up and let's do this again.
Yeah, and thinking of it that way, it made me think of Matthew, in Matthew 5, when it talks about how we are supposed to be the light. It's like a whole bunch of verses, but the synopsis is that we are supposed to be the light of the world in the darkness, and that we are supposed to be the salt of the world, and that we are supposed to be different. We're supposed to, the whole thing is basically, we're supposed to be in the world, but we're not of the world. We're made to be different.
Yeah.
And we're made to be unique, and we need to be kind of not prideful, but confident in that.
Yeah.
And that's how Jessie and James were. They knew they were at the bottom of the food chain, or bottom of the totem pole, so to speak, but they didn't care. They still went on every mission. They still went and they did what they were supposed to, and they tried and tried and tried. And the show's still going, and they're still trying, and they're still doing. And that's kind of how we need to be as Christians. It's become such a norm that we have to worry about what people think of us. And, we start questioning, about all the things about, am I saying this right? Am I doing this right? Did I make that person mad? Did what I say offend them? Is this going to hurt that person's feeling? If I dress like this, is that going to impress this person, or am I going to be in the in the popular crowd, or and the list goes on and on and on and on. Not just with kids, but adults too. I myself have issues, self-esteem issues, to where there are times where if somebody says something, and it doesn't have to be wrong or mean or anything, but they can say something particular that makes me start questioning. And I have to remind myself that we're made in God's image. And we are all to be unique. We are all to be different. That's how he made us. None of us are the same. We might look the same, but that's because of the fact that we are all made in the image of God. And so we're going to have some likenesses, but it's our differences that make us beautiful, and that make us better for the world, for humankind, so to speak. Because if we were all the same, or if we liked all the same things, it'd be very, very boring.
Yeah, I think that goes to, the world has painted a image of perfection.
Yeah.
And only one person in the world has ever been able to fulfill what the world would see as perfect. And what people need to realize is in God's eyes, it's our imperfections that make us perfect. We're not perfect in, look and style and the way we think. We're not all we're not all high IQ. We're not all intelligent. We're not all popular. We're not all unpopular. We're, everybody's different. Everybody has their imperfections, but that's what makes you, you.
Yeah.
The imperfections are what bring forth true perfection.
Yeah.
Because your imperfections are what God made. God doesn't make mistakes.
No.
The imperfections that you see is got a purpose.
Yeah.
And that's God's perfection on display.
Yeah.
We are God's work. We are the potter's, clay. Ain't nobody else gonna be like me.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody else gonna be like you. It's it.
Yeah.
And self-esteem is a battle for a lot of people because of that. And
well, yeah, because you've got Hollywood, and you've got all these things like influencers, and especially nowadays because the internet and access to social media is literally at the touch of our fingers.
Yeah.
And it used to be where you didn't get any of that unless you read a newspaper or read a magazine, where now it literally is a click of a button or tap of an app, so to speak. And it's right there in your face of you're not pretty unless you have this, or you're not smart unless you have a master's degree, or if you don't make this amount of money, then you're poor and you're worthless, and it's it's something that you have to push back when it comes to stuff like that, like those thoughts or those images, or like you have to push back. You have to count, so to speak, the phrase count your blessing. Like you have to look around and see what you have and look in the mirror. Like we were talking the other day, look in the mirror and look at yourself. I mean, one, you're alive.
Yeah.
There have been so many times in my life where I could have died. Like, I could have straight up died. I would not have made it this far. I would have not, been married almost 19 years. We wouldn't have 4 kids. Like, there were times where, for instance, when we had, Princess Pika, there was a moment where there was a chance that I wasn't going to make it. And I can sit here today and say I made it.
Yeah.
But it was only by the grace of God. It was only because of prayer. It was only because of the fact that God gave us, as a family, a story to be able to tell and testify that we made it, And I could be sad and upset and, about how the fact that I didn't have a perfect birth story, or things didn't go the way I wanted, or, or I got, what do you call it? Oh my gosh, that was stolen from me, like that part of my birthing experience, or whatever you want to call it, was stolen from me because this happened or that happened. But in the end, we have a beautiful daughter.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here, and it was hard. It was a very, very hard process, but it's a blessing, and the world likes to put all these images in your head and all these things, and it's like you lose focus, and you think about what the world wants you to think about, and you think about what your friends want you to think about, or what your job wants you to think about. And it's like, what should we be thinking about? Like, what should be at the forefront of our mind? Yeah. And it needs to be what God wants you to think about. It needs to be about his thoughts, his image, his stories, his reminders, his blessings, his everything. Your life should be centered around him. And when we went to Legoland yesterday. Yeah. We were standing there at a little aquarium thing. And there was at one point where the only thing that was running through my head, because I was watching you and the kids, was my heart was so full at that point. Because I couldn't ask. I mean, granted, our morning started out rough. right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It took us a whole lot longer to get there. You
Yep.
know, like we had all this traffic. I kept missing the turns. Like
Yeah, the 2.5-hour drive turned into a 3.5-hour drive.
it was insane, right? And we could have been so upset, right? We got there, your glasses broke, and
Yep.
it was the craziest thing in the world. But we finally got there. We were all together. All the kids were happy as could be. It was in the most wonderful spot of being able to look at some of the creatures that we would probably never see if we didn't go to aquarium, you know, like just living in the moment, you know. And it was just, I was so overwhelmed with content and peace and happiness, well, I should say joy, that like I didn't want to leave that building, because just seeing the happiness on the kids, or the joy that was in their eyes, and hearing all the laughter and everything, it was an awesome feeling. And we forget that sometimes, because we're so focused on everything else. But Jessie and James, they always kept their like main goal, their main thing, that they kept that their focus, and that was to be themselves and to do their job and to be who they were meant to be and to be confident in that.
Yeah.
You know, it literally doesn't matter how many times they blasted off the next episode. I mean, granted, I understand that's how they were created, but exactly that. Like, that's how they were created. Wow, I said it without even realizing it. They were created to be like that.
Yeah.
And we were created to be like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they lost their way, and I know I said in the beginning, like, I couldn't find a positive thing, but like I'm like, you gotta be able to find something positive about these characters, because we have all this around us and we're always meant to learn something. And then I remember, like, it was like salt of the earth, dare to be different, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my gosh, I guess they're not that bad.
No, it all goes back to what we were saying at the beginning. It's their choices.
Yeah.
It's their choices in life. I mean, honestly, I don't think by their nature they were evil. I don't think by nature they're bad. They are, you know, they have the full-on ability to do something great.
Right, and that's what I got to thinking. Like, it's not like deep down they were bad characters.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that. It was like they were being led astray from their true potential.
Yeah.
Even though they were still keeping like their confidence and all of that was, you know, high, but like their true potential was led astray a little bit, you know. And like, that's why I was like, I kind of had a hard time. But like, if you sit and you think about it, it's, I mean, like you said, they're not, like, deep down, you know, they're not, because they never really hurt anybody.
No.
You know, like I know at one point, I don't remember the episode, but I know at one point they all, like, Jessie, James, Meowth, Pikachu, Ash, Misty, like, they all got into this, like, crazy situation. And when Ash and them found out that Team Rocket was there, it was like they had to work together to get out of that situation.
Yeah.
You know, and so it was like they put aside their differences to get out of that situation. So, like, to me, like, that proves right there, like, deep down.
One instance of that was when they were on the Queen Anne. That links to that episode.
Yeah.
Where whenever they got out of the situation and they were, you know, with Gyarados and everything else doing Dragon Rage, and they were on the ocean, that's when they started talking about Noah's Ark.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, I mean, that's why I believe, like, they're not, like, that's why I guess it was really hard for me, because even though a lot of their character traits are negative, they're not, like, vicious.
Yeah.
You know, they're not, like, deep down in the bottom of it. They're not horrible people. They're just, like you said, they're how'd you put it? Misaligned or something. I don't remember how you said it.
Oh.
Anyways.
Yeah, their moral compass was trying to point north, but they were fighting it.
Yeah.
I mean, what I see kind of ties into your characteristic, because if it wasn't for their self-esteem, they wouldn't be what I saw. And what I see is I see that they're very optimistic.
Yeah.
And you can't be optimistic without good self-esteem.
Yeah.
They,
Especially failing that many times.
yeah, yeah. To me, they were like the Japanese version of Pinky and the Brain. They'd come up with an idea, fantastic idea, horrible execution, and then they fail. One that comes to mind, because I'm more on the old school side whenever it comes to Pokemon, is whenever they were at the gym and they were with Misty's sisters. And they wanted to get all the water Pokemon, so they stole a huge industrial vacuum, and they were going to suck all the water with the Pokemon out, and they were going to capture the Pokemon that way. And great idea. I mean, it worked. Horrible execution. You could have done some things to prevent yourself from getting foiled in your attempt to, gain what you were after. But they didn't think about the rest of the plan.
Yeah.
It was just, oh, we can do this. Okay, let's do it. Oh, we can catch all the Butterfree with a giant butterfly net out of the bottom of a hot air balloon. It worked for a while. You didn't think of the escape.
Yeah.
You didn't think of, oh, there's our nemesis right there. Maybe we can try to do this whenever we're no longer in their visual proximity.
Right.
We can follow the Butterfree out a little further and then catch them, They never saw it 100% through, but they were optimistic in every plan that they had. And even whenever they got let down in failure and they blasted off again, they were optimistic that the next one would work.
Yep. Yeah.
Failure didn't scare them from being optimistic that the next time was going to be better. The next time was going to work, and they were going to succeed at some point in time. And it reminds me of, I think, your favorite verse, Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through him who strengthens me. We can do everything with God on our side. It goes back to previous episodes where we talked about impossibilities.
Yeah.
All things are possible with God. We just have to have faith that with God we can do it. We got to have faith that if we don't do it alone, we can succeed.
Yeah.
With God, we're able to accomplish what other people see as impossible. And it goes back to what me and K2 were talking about last week, about faith. It doesn't take a lot of faith to accomplish these things. I mean, you could tell a mountain to move from here to there with faith the grain of a mustard seed. Think of what you can do with faith a quarter of a mustard seed, or a 16th of a mustard seed. You can do some pretty crazy great things with just, say, a small, minuscule amount of faith. But even that amount of faith can be hard to have. I mean, true faith, not just say, oh, I believe this can happen, but truly believing what's coming out of your mouth.
Well, the world is conditioned to believe what you see. Like, if you don't see it happen, then how can it be true? And the problem with that is you're not always going to be able to see stuff. Like, things happen in life, and you don't know. Like, you have thoughts and I have thoughts, but you can't see them. And there's things in life that you're just not going to be able to see, and we still believe it. I know the biggest example of that is the wind. We believe there's wind. Why? Because we can feel it, because we can see the effects of it. Well, that's the same thing as God. You can feel you can feel when God's presence is there,
Yeah.
and you can feel when God's presence isn't. You can see the effects of it.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but there have been people where I have seen before and after true transformations when they accepted Christ versus, and actually like turned their ways and actually did what, they were supposed to change and everything like that. And then there's been ones where they say they've done it but there wasn't true change.
Yeah.
Like if God is there, you're going to be able to see the evidence of that.
Yeah.
And that's, you've got to be able to have, like you said, that faith. And having it can be, even for believers, it's hard to have it. It's challenging because of the fact that we are conditioned, the world is conditioned not to believe in something if you can't see it.
Yeah. And, we're talking about, change, like whenever you receive Christ, it's an immediate change. And I think it's important to note that that's not your entire life that changes automatically. For some people, it does.
No, I'm talking more like mindset.
You seem lighter. Your
Yes.
mind, your stresses, your worries, and everything become very light. You're joyous.
Yes.
It doesn't mean that your
It's
issues are
internal,
going to
like your
flutter
heart.
away.
Yeah, I'm talking more like your heart.
Yeah,
Because when
yeah.
when your heart, when you're internal, like when your conscience and your thoughts and like when that is changed, it's like cleaning the inside of a garbage can.
Yeah.
The outside is also going to get cleaned.
Yeah.
Like you're going to see changes. You can't have a moment with God and not have something change.
Yeah.
And a lot of people think that, like you were saying, like you started saying, I didn't mean to interrupt, but you were saying how it's not going to be an instance, and that is extremely correct. That's not what I was trying to.
Yeah, and like I said, I wanted to add a little footnote there because there are some people who, whenever they say that whenever you accept Christ in your life, that all your problems are just going to go away in an instant. And that kind of change, like I said, there are people out there who have experienced that.
Right.
And there are a lot of people who have shared stuff about that kind of instantaneous change. And a lot of those people, the parts of the story that don't always get told is the fact that they challenge God at that point. God, I will believe in you if you do this.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're stubborn enough where God just turns around and say, I've been in front of your face the entire time. Fine. If that's what it's going to take, boom, there's your miracle. Now, a lot of people, even after they get their miracle, they don't believe.
Yeah.
God, I will believe in you if I wake up in the morning and I don't crave drugs anymore.
Yeah.
Well, there are some celebrities who say that they did that and they woke up and they were clean and they didn't want drugs anymore.
Yeah.
And, my grandmother, God, if you make it to where I don't have to have this surgery because my arteries are 98% blocked and I'm on the verge of a heart attack, I'll never smoke again. Well, she went back to the doctor a couple of days later and she was 100% clear. Not 10% more clear. No, 100% no blockage.
Yeah.
And whenever she gets back to the house, she tells my mom, go inside, throw it all away because I'm not strong enough to do it.
Yeah.
And she didn't have terrible withdrawals, but God had been chasing her for years, and she can even tell you that she saw it, but she didn't want to let go of her life. And I think that's the important part to think about, is whenever you ask Jesus into your life, are you going to accept the change? There's the question. You have that internal change starting, and that internal change is going to grow. Like you said, it's going to go from the inside out. If you clean the inside of the trash can, the outside's going to get cleaned. So the question is are you going to take the joy as a temporary thing, or are you going to let that joy overflow and continue out to the outside? Are you going to let that change continue? And I think that's where people need to understand that also comes with your choice. Again, it comes down to a choice. Team Rocket, they had everything there. You could see the good in them. And sometimes it kind of trickled out.
Yeah.
But they made the choice to push it back in.
Yeah.
And there are people out there in the world who, again, do you truly accept what God's giving you? When you truly accept it, you're going to accept the change that has started. It's a little spark on the inside. It's like a little candle's worth of a flame. Are you going to let it grow, or are you just going to keep it a candle, or are you just going to let it fizzle back out?
Well, and also with that is the fact that people think that even whenever you have your true transformation, whether it's slow or whether it's instant, that you're never going to have a problem after that.
Yeah.
You know, it all depends, and this is just from speaking to many different people here and many different testimonies. It all depends on the person. Because, I mean, we had a pastor that he admitted, you know, that he used to be a drug addict and alcohol or something like that. Like, he had an addiction.
Yeah.
And that there were times where he was tempted. And if it wasn't without God giving him the strength to, you know, push that away, deny the human temptation or the human desire of that part, if it wasn't for that strength from God, not from himself, but from God, he would not have been able to keep on the journey that he was in.
Yeah.
You know, and that was years and years and years and years and years of being whatever it was, insert addiction here, free from that.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the thing. Like, when people deal with depression, I've dealt with that, it creeps back up. You know, when you deal with self-esteem issues, it's going to creep back up. Why?
Yeah.
Because it's sin. Like, sin is sin. It's in the world. It's not going to go away. And for people who believe in God and who, you know, give those challenges of, if you do this, God, I'm going to do this, you know, and step out in faith, they're going to have even harder challenges. Why? Because Satan doesn't want you to believe.
Yeah.
Satan doesn't want you to have that extreme faith. He is going to put anything and everything in your path to make you fall so you can be back in his snares, and so you can be one of his successes, and you're over here, now you're miserable again.
Yeah.
And you feel even more of a failure, and more of a less human, you know, Christ child, even more of a lesser of a person, more, you know, you're just less and less and less, and then you're worse than what you even started.
Yeah. Going back to the story with my grandmother, after she went back to the doctor, after, like I said, just maybe a week, and she comes back with that report of they took a look before the procedure and I'm 100% clear. So she calls somebody up and tells them that, and that person tries to take credit for the fact that she's clear.
Yeah.
Because she told them to do this home remedy, and it cleared her up. And it's like, I'm sorry, the home remedy that you gave would take months, if not years, to clear something like that up. That is a maintenance treatment, not a miracle cure.
Yeah.
You can't take credit for what God did.
No.
But she sure as heck tried to take the credit for something that God did.
Yeah.
And, you know, the devil, like we've said before, the battle's in the mind. The devil attacks the mind. He's going to put that seed of doubt in your head.
Yeah.
And he's going to use other people and other things to do it. That's, again, where you got to make the choice. Are you going to believe the miracle that God's given you, or are you going to let somebody take the miracle away? Because I can tell you right now, drinking pomegranate juice isn't going to clear your arteries in 5 days.
Yeah.
But if you drink pomegranate juice throughout your life, it can help maintain your arteries. Pomegranate juice ain't the miracle cure. in a couple of days, you know.
No.
And that's what they try to tell my grandmother. It's like, Grandma, you're not that naive.
No. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, and the thing is even no matter how far you are in your walk with God, like some people I know look at people like they might think for us, like, oh, well, you've been a Christian for years, blah, blah, blah. I was raised in church. You were raised in church.
Yep.
We both have stories where we fell out of church or we fell out of faith.
Yeah.
And when we came back, shortly after we came back, we got together.
Yeah.
It still wasn't easy.
No.
You know, I mean, we had horrible marriage years, or years in our marriage. I've had horrible things that have happened with my family.
Yeah.
You know, a whole lot of things. I mean, we could literally write a book. We probably write a couple of books.
Yeah, I've been told we should write a book.
I know, I have too. Of all these things that we have been able to overcome.
Yeah.
And there were times where I remember after Nathan passed away, there were times where honestly I was done. Like, I was done believing. I was done trying. I was done going to church. I was done reading my Bible. I was just done, because how could something like that happen? Granted, my brother probably wasn't, I mean, he wasn't the best Christian. He wasn't doing well in his marriage. You know, he probably was struggling as a father. I mean, what person in your marriage is perfect from the beginning?
Yeah.
You know, like, no offense, nobody's marriage is perfect.
Yeah.
At all. I do not care what you see on social media. Nobody's marriage is perfect.
Nope.
All that junk is a lie.
Yes.
Because we fight and argue. We've been married 19 years.
Yep.
From, I think the only time, well, no, even still, we argue about our first date, unofficial, not date. I mean, you know, so like.
Yeah, we keep that one going just because it's fun at this point.
It's funny now. But like, even from the beginning, like, and I remember sitting in our bedroom one day thinking, like, I just don't understand how I still don't understand how something like that could happen. But a few years later, I lose my mother in a horrible fire accident. You know, and then we lose my grandfather. We lose your grandmother in the same year. You know, and it's like all these things that have horribly happened in our life. And all I can think of now is how blessed I am that we had them. We were able to spend time with them. We were able to learn from them, or not learn from them, you know, learn what to do, what not to do.
Yeah.
We were able to, one of my favorite things about your grandmother is how she told stories. It reminded me so much of my grandmother. And honestly, I wouldn't give that up for anything.
Yeah.
I missed that about my grandmother. And when me and you got together and your grandma would tell stories, I remember, like, it would bring that feeling back of when my grandma did it. And it was the most, to me, it was just an awesome thing, because it's like learning history, but it's personal history.
Yeah.
You know, from somebody who lived through stuff that you would never be able, like, I'd never be able to live through the things that she lived through.
Yeah.
You know, my grandmother lived through the Depression. There's probably nobody alive that has lived through the Depression. If anything, it was the end of the Depression, you know?
Yeah.
Like our, I think it's the Vietnam Wars. We still have a couple of those people.
Yeah.
You know, but there's very, very few. You know, it's people that have lived through things. Like your grandma living in Nevada, working at, you know,
the Gold Nugget.
The Gold Nugget, and talking to all these famous people and that weren't famous then, but now they're famous now, you know.
I'm getting protected by the Italian mafia and everything.
I mean, like, it's just, it's like watching movies, or listening to the radio, but it's real life, you know, it's not fiction.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just, it made me thankful. Now I can say that. When I was in the thick of it, Absolutely not.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard. It is. But in the end, we hold on to our faith. We hold on to what we know, not what we think, not what our mind tells us, but what our heart tells us.
Yeah. And I think that's at the root of true optimism, is you believe it with your whole self.
Yeah.
And I mean, honestly, now talking about it, I think my grandmother would have gotten along with Jessie and James very well.
She would have had lots of fun.
she was, you know, like she was like the goofy bad girl, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, a lot of her stories could have turned into a Team Rocket fiasco.
Very much so.
But yeah, that's funny to think about now. But you know, and I think that brings up the true root of optimism is believing with your whole self and not giving up.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of times where in, you know, our life, you know, and even in our marriage where we could have gave up.
Yeah.
And there were points where it looked like giving up was it. You know, giving up was there. But one, if not both of us, hung on to that optimism. And optimism, that true, takes faith. And Team Rocket, no matter how misplaced, had faith in themselves.
Yeah.
And, you know, they may not have had faith in, you know, Team Rocket as a group, because I think there were points where they doubted Team Rocket as a gang, you know, as a syndicate. But they never doubted their partnership. They never doubted what they could do, what they could accomplish. They were, you know, the optimism was there.
Yeah.
And, you know, looking back to even the stories of my grandmother when she was at the Gold Nugget, she was in some terrible situations.
Yeah.
And, I mean, the stories that she would tell, you know, I mean, around that time, she was battling cancer for the first time. And by the grace of God, her boss paid for everything and kept her pay coming in, kept her on payroll. She wanted to make more money because she was a money counter. She was in the safe counting money, you know, she was behind the cage. And because somebody screwed up and lost a bunch of money at a 21 table, they gave the new girl a shot because she was learning off to the side how to deal blackjack. And she gets all the money back in her first in her first sit down session at a table. Gets all the money back plus now the guy's in debt to the casino versus the casino being in debt to them.
Yeah.
You know? And she had the optimism that if they would give her a shot, she could do it.
Yeah.
And she went from, you know, being the money counter girl to she became the requested dealer from all the celebrities. She became the requested dealer for all the politicians. She became the requested dealer for the mafia. I mean, she was the celebrity dealer.
Yeah, she was. She was the pick.
she had celebrities ask her to marry them.
Yeah. She even had a couple famous musicians. Well, not at the time they weren't famous, but they are famous now.
Yeah, and
some musicians.
And what's insane is they never, you know, there are points in their biographies where they talk about a person who helped them but never gave a name, and it's kind of cool to be able to sit there and go, yeah, I know who that person was.
Yeah.
You know, and we're not gonna put celebrity names out there because I really don't want to have to deal with the what ifs and the questions and junk like that, because it's a cool history just to pass down in the family, you know.
Yeah.
But the people that she met, the people that she touched, was all due to full optimism. She knew that if she had no shot at becoming a dealer, she had no experience. Okay, well, I'm gonna find somebody to teach me. So she learns on her off time. And then, oh, this person screwed up royally. Now the pit boss is like, hey, she's been practicing, give her a shot. Okay, that doesn't just happen even nowadays.
Yeah.
You have to go to dealer school now. They actually have a dealer school to learn how to deal in a casino. So I mean, it's pretty crazy. I mean, my grandmother tried to get me to deal on a casino boat, and I'm like, yeah, if you teach me.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not going to go into that junk not knowing what I'm doing, but I'm not going to go to a generic casino school either. I want to know old school.
Yeah.
Show me how to do it, you
Yeah.
know. And never did it, but you know, it's there. She at least taught me how to handle a card.
A little bit.
Enough. She didn't teach me how to count.
No.
But I do know a few signs. As soon as I see them, it's like, okay, let's double up. And no, I do not gamble. I have never been in a casino, but people don't like playing with me because of it. But yeah, no, she would have gotten along with Team Rocket.
Yeah,
it's
I
just
agree on
the same optimism that Team Rocket had. I could see that she had in her life. And you know, it's nice. It's an awesome feeling to say that in the end, she completely surrendered to God. You know, through a hard, tough life, she finally surrendered to God. It went from, oh, I can do God at home, to, okay, now I'm gonna be active in church, to I'm gonna share my testimony, to I'm gonna share Christ with somebody.
Yeah.
And you know, her personality didn't change.
No,
but the way she shared her story changed.
Yeah.
The story she did, you know, it didn't change in what it contained, but the substance of the story changed.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what a testimony is. You know, you can tell a bad story, you know, a story full of garbage, but once you see God in it, once you see where faith takes over, once you see where God had a hand, and you're speaking about that situation in faith, that bad situation becomes a positive situation.
Yeah.
Team Rocket were to look at things in a different light, make the different choice. They could have taken their bad situation and done something great with the situation. They could have had their own syndicate.
Yeah.
If they really wanted to.
They could have probably had their own gym.
Yeah. I mean, they could have opened a business.
Yeah.
With all the schemes that they had, they could have done so much.
Yeah.
But their optimism was misplaced. Instead of, you know, and what's bad is they dreamed of being the boss. Meowth dreamed of being the boss as Pokemon. They could have been the boss.
Yeah.
He could have been the boss as Pokemon. And they could have done something good instead of bad. Because even some of their fake businesses could have made it. They were doing some of the dumbest stuff.
I think at least at one point they were doing very well too, and then they got distracted because of their scheme that they had to.
Yeah, it was the wacky salon.
Yeah.
Whenever Rock got Vulpix.
Yes.
It looked terrible.
Yes.
But you want to know something? If it would have been a legit business, they could have continued raking in the money.
Yeah.
They could have actually grew an empire off of making Pokemon look like their Kiss models.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's stuff like that where it's like, if you would just leave Team Rocket, you could accomplish a lot.
Yeah.
You know, take your self-esteem, your optimism, and your willpower and put it into something 100% for yourself.
Yeah. And I guess that also that boils down to basically seeing how the creator sees you.
Yeah.
You know, and following what the creator wants you to do, or be the person that the creator wants you to be. Because when you misplace your optimism, when you misplace your purpose, you go off the track, so to speak, you know. And but if you could just realign yourself, I mean, the possibilities are endless. I mean, there's a scripture that says that he owns a cattle on 1,000 hills.
Yeah.
You know, like, the possibilities are endless. It's insane. I mean, if you sit and think about it, I mean, just for us with doing this podcast, like, we started it as like almost like funsies. Like, oh, we're going to try this and see what happens.
Yeah.
You know, and we're 3 seasons deep.
Yeah.
You know, we have a solid, I mean, I feel like we have a solid listening platform.
Yeah.
It's not big.
No.
But it's reaching those that need to hear it. And the possibilities of where it could go, like, sometimes whenever we sit and talk about it, it's like holy cow, because you don't think it could happen, but it could.
Yeah.
You know, like, you could be, not that I would ever, no, honestly, not that I would, that's the goal. You know, like, our goal isn't to be famous. Our goal isn't to walk down the street and be like, oh my gosh, you know, like, have paparazzi follow us. Like, that's not the goal, because our ultimate goal is to reach those that are lost.
Yeah.
To teach about God and preach the love, you know, and his mission, and that's the goal.
Yeah.
You know, but if you think about all the things that God could do with that,
mm-hmm.
It's mind-boggling. It's mind-blowing, you know? And I mean, it sounds crazy. But if that's, like you said, a little faith, you know, can move a mountain, what would a lot of faith do?
Yeah.
You know, it's just, sit and think about it.
Yeah, the mind-blowing possibilities.
Yeah. The what ifs, I mean, are endless at that point.
Yeah.
But it's placing your faith in the right spot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, placing your optimism in the right spot, putting it all on track. That's where people mess up, because it's their choices. So what's your choice?
We gonna keep going.
Okay.
So, I got a couple of questions.
Okay.
So this one is, I guess, kind of more of an analytical, intellectual type question.
Oh, I love those.
So the question is, what does Team Rocket's motto reveal about their personalities and teamwork?
Okay, so let's go through their motto, because you know it better than I do.
Okay. To protect the world from devastation. Unite all peoples within our nation. To denounce the evils of truth and love. To extend our reach to the stars above. Jessie, James. Team Rocket, blast off at the speed of light. Surrender now or prepare to fight. Meowth, that's right.
See, I think it goes back to how we were saying that deep down, they're not bad. Like,
yeah, because if you listen to it, it's kind of confusing.
I mean, okay, what, say it the very beginning again.
To protect the world from devastation.
Okay, what are they protecting? Who are they protecting? Like, people that are vicious are not going to protect anybody except themselves.
Uh-huh.
You know, like, to me, that's what comes to mind. Like, a lot of that motto is, we're doing this, but it's not for us. It's for all of you.
Yeah, because then it goes on to unite all peoples within our nation.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, it's good. It's more good.
But then it goes to denounce the evils of truth and love.
But the thing is truth, the evils of truth. So what are the evils of truth? I get the love, because love can make you stupid. No offense to anybody.
Well, their truth is failure.
So maybe that's so denounce the truth of failure.
Could be. At that point, it would speak to their self-esteem, to their optimism. If at first you don't succeed, try again. You only fail when you stop trying.
Or it could be regarding their past.
Could be.
Because, like, what the truths and the love, like people that said that they loved them but didn't.
Could go more toward their pain. And then after that, it's to extend our reach to the stars above. I think that speaks more to their pride. Of course, then it goes into the rest of the Team Rocket motto. Team Rocket, blast off at the speed of light. Surrender now or prepare to fight.
And then they blast off.
Yeah, so that's the evil part of it. So it kind of speaks to their inner turmoil that we've been talking about.
Yes.
So what does that say about their teamwork?
Well, I feel like they're both on the same plane. Like they're because they don't really, like, they're obviously, it's all made up, guys. But, like, they do it so well. It's, like, a natural thing for them.
Yeah.
So, to me, it's like they're two puzzle pieces that work well together.
Yeah.
And so it's... And the only time they mess up is if somebody interrupts them. So.
Yeah. All right, cool. Second question. This one's more fun. If Team Rocket had a podcast, what would they complain about the most?
Meowth.
You really think they'd complain about Meowth the most?
Meowth is annoying. Meowth is annoying. I'm sorry. I think he's a cute Pokemon, but Meowth is annoying. He complains.
Do you think they would complain about Meowth, or do you think they'd argue with him because he'd be on the podcast too?
I complain about you.
Jeez, thanks.
I don't know. I mean, they complain about somebody and the we know this person and this is how this person is. And oh my goodness, what do you think about it, Meowth? And then he starts complaining.
I think that they would complain about the hot air balloon.
Really?
Every time they're in the thing, that is their worst blast-offs. You think about it. Balloon pops, they blow away. Balloon blows up, they fly away. The balloon runs out of air, they crash, and then they run away. The balloon was the worst part of their entire plan half the time.
So, question.
What?
Do they use their real names on the podcast, or do they use stage names?
No, they're very sure of themselves. They'd be calling themselves Jessie and James all the way through.
Okay.
Yeah, Meowth, that's right.
I'm sticking with Meowth. I think they complain about him.
Either that or they'd complain about the brats that keep on foiling their plans. Yes, I can see it now. They're like the Japanese villains of Scooby-Doo. If it wasn't for you and those meddling kids and that cat or that mouse.
I was gonna say that's not a that's not a cat.
That'd be kind of funny. Somebody needs to do that. Scooby-Doo crossover with Team Rocket.
Maybe they talk about real life things.
Yeah.
And finally see that they have a lot in common.
You think it'd become a therapy session?
Why not?
Huh?
Why not?
There are points where this podcast has been a bit of a therapy session, so I guess that is extremely possible.
They find that they have a lot in common. And then Jessie, says something kind.
So pretty much it'd lead to them getting married. Gotcha.
See where I was going.
Finally.
I'm glad you finally picked up on that.
Yes, because if you look at their backstories, it always came back to each other. So
Yep.
it works.
Yep. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
All right. Anything else you want to add?
No.
No? All right. So let us close in prayer. Father God, I thank you for giving us the ability to come onto this platform and to spread your word, to talk about your gospel and what you can do in our lives in such a unique way, using anime and manga and video games. God, I pray that as we continue on through our life, that we consider the choices that we are making, whether it comes out of a bad situation or a good one. Father God, that we look at the choices and we choose the choice that brings us into the light. Father God, that if we hit moments where we feel like we are failing or that we are failures, that you show us and you guide us in a way that will build our self-esteem. And God, that we have faith in what you say that we can do, and faith in what that you will do what you say that you will do, and that we grow in true optimism. And God, I pray that as we continue throughout our week, that we see you in the creation that you have made all around us, and that we see you in the things that we watch and in the things that we do that are created by artists, animators, and programmers. And God, that you continue to work in our lives every single day, and that you build us up and that you bring us to new heights. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Thanks for hanging out with us on Rev's Otaku Talk. Make sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform, and don't forget to like and follow us on Facebook at Rev's Otaku Talkers and on X at Rev's Otaku Talk. We'd love to hear from you, so drop a comment, leave a review, and share your favorite anime and God moments with the community. Also, check out Rev's Otaku Shop to grab some awesome merch, and don't miss out on a bag of Rev's Con Kohi coffee. The link is in the description below. Until next time, keep your anime collection strong and your faith stronger. See you later, guys.
Bye.
Our trivia time, let's spin that cup. Kid Koopa's crown, can he keep it up? Listener mail and fan debates. We love the art the Lord creates. From Studio Ghibli to Naruto, God speaks in ways you didn't know. Stories rise like rising sun. We break them down one by one. Chew, this ain't just hype, it's revelation. Anime with holy inspiration. Otaku life with transformation. Faith and fandom, no limitation. It's Revs! Otaku Talk! From J-Jo's post to Spirit Lead, we laugh, reflect, and plant that seed. It's Revs! Otaku Talk! So hit that play, don't walk away. Let's eat and grow in Jesus' way. O-T-A-K-U, talking truth in all we do. Revs crew, rolling through. Faith meets fandom just for you.
Otaku.